All right, hey everybody, we're back with some interesting news that we have here. Let's close these little ads down here. I know I got to get an ad blocker, and I will someday. Just got to research it and figure out what I want to do. But today we want to talk about this. I found this on Tacoma 4G is the site we are on here. This was yesterday. Interestingly, hopefully this won't impact quality control. Okay, that's the kicker right off the bat. First line on here. Interesting. Hope this won't impact quality control. But what we have here is Toyota has repeatedly halted Mexico plant after suppliers hit by worker shortages, sources say. So it says right here, Toyota Motor was forced to repeatedly halt production at the Mexico plant in February and March after local labor shortages snarled outputs at suppliers, according to people with knowledge of the automaker's operations. Okay, the stoppage details, the details of which were corroborated by documents from Toyota and suppliers reviewed by routers, illustrate a potential choke point for the world's top automaker. Okay, well, this is where the new Toyota is being made. Okay, in Tijuana, Mexico. That's where it's being assembled. Okay, they halted production for 19 straight days over a 2-month period. That's fine. People do that all the time. No big deal there. But the fact that they halted it because of the fact that they cannot get workers. Okay, that's an issue. They cannot get employees. They cannot get assembly line workers at these suppliers down there. Becomes a problem. Toyota is now working with some suppliers to ease that strain. How? I don't know. They're bringing in more people, doing more things. I'm not quite sure. Still, some part makers are barely managing to keep production going because of the worker shortage. Okay, one of the people said worker shortage. That means they cannot get people to actually build these parts and build this stuff. The supply disruption are the latest headaches for the Japanese manufacturer giant, which has also been dealing with the fallout from a safety test certification scandal. We already knew about that before. We've talked about that with Daihatsu, as well as a separate governance issued for two other company or groups in the companies. That's where they got sued for the $64 million they had to pay back for screwing over their customers. Those scandals have prompted the automaker to delay the start of production of electric vehicles. I don't care about the electrical vehicles, but right here in a letter to North America, to its North American supplier network in late April, was reviewed by Reuters. Automaker acknowledging frequent production halts that were causing an inconvenience and concern. Well, that's very much so. It does cause inconvenience and concern because we know what is the number one problem with quality of vehicles today. It is crap workers in supply chains and crap workers at the dealers, or I mean at the manufacturing plants and assembly plants. Okay, crap workers, people that don't catch things that aren't right. They don't do their job right. If they put a bolt in wrong, they don't care. They'll just leave it and look the other way and know that it'll be covered up by carpet and nobody's going to see it. They play all these stupid games. Okay, we see this a lot. If there's wild slag all over the axle and it's interfering with where the nuts go through, they're like, it'll work, and they just put it on anyway instead of realizing this stuff. Okay, lack of quality workers is the problem with every issue we have. That's what's crushing Ford and also how the companies handle it. But point being, this is a big deal right here. Okay, Reuters was not able to determine whether the labor issues were hitting the suppliers of other automakers producing in the United States. That's fine, but either way, this is a big time issue here. This is a big deal, and it's interestingly here that he says right here at the top, interesting. Hopefully this won't impact quality control. Well, it's gonna definitely impact quality control. Okay, if you don't have enough workers to be able to assemble these things, you shut down for a total of 19 days. And then when you do get workers in, you're constantly rotating new people into places they've never been, people that don't know what they're doing with this stuff. And there's a lot of issues that can come out of that. So this is a big red flag. This is kind of a bummer here. I don't like this. But it also shows what's happening all over the world everywhere today. The biggest problem that automakers face today is crap, junk workers. Okay, that is the problem. Okay, people that don't care, that have no pride of what they do, they don't, all they want is their paycheck and they want to work less hours and they want to be handed everything for free so they can go home and play on Facebook is what they want. And that is the world we live in today. And the auto industry is being crushed by that. Toyota is not the only one. Many of them are. Like I said, it is the biggest downside. It is the biggest cause for recalls. It is the biggest cause for every problem that everything faces in the world today. In the world today, the workforce is an absolute joke, and it is causing major issues. Now, so keep in mind that this is not just a Toyota thing, but in Toyota, this caused 19 days of shutdown in February and March at their plant. It is going to affect quality control. Things are going to slip by. There are going to be some issues that are going to come out of this. There's just no way not to in order for these people to do their things. I mean, even when they have workers that are on the job and been on the job for a while doing jobs, those workers still suck at what they do and they fail a lot too, given the fact that they can't get people in and or keep rotating them through, and also that Toyota is now working with some suppliers to ease the strain by whatever they're doing, giving them different employees or who knows what's going on here. But it's going to cause an impact here. We're going to notice this. This is going to be a snowball effect that we will start seeing with problems coming in for this new Tacoma are going to come from this. They will probably be short-lived, but we are going to see a spike in issues with this vehicle is going to come out of what we're having happen here. I pretty much guarantee it. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, they even had to halt production for 19 days in 2 months. That's pretty crazy. And like I said, this truck barely even hit the showrooms right around that time also. So interesting news. We're going to move on from there. We're going to go right here. This one, simple, but I like it. When you're looking at this, Scotty Kilmer, love his stuff. Watch a lot of his things. I like his attitude, but this is from the Sun. But simple one, but it's interesting that many people don't do it. Okay, and I'm going to put my twist on it for you. Your air filter. Very few people change their air filter as often as they should. We're going to go through this quickly. If you do not change your air filter, in the old days, when cars were carbureted and you didn't change your air filter, what would happen is your car you'd end up running too rich because you couldn't get enough air through the air filter to the amount of gas that was coming in, and then it would get real smoky and boggy, and you'd start following out spark plugs, and you knew what the problem was. Today, everything is computer controlled. Your air-to-fuel mixture ratio is computer controlled. So therefore, if you start starving of air, it's going to start starving it of air. Your computer's going to start starving it of fuel. You're going to start getting all these cattywampus things going on, and it's bad. So moral of the story, every 12,000 miles, if you're a normal driver, 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, replace that. If you're somebody like me who drives off-road a lot and in the dirt and things like that, you're going to want to do it. I do mine every 5,000 miles. I do it. Now, here's the thought process. The thing for you that I want you to understand. Air filters today are ridiculously expensive for OEM air filters. Okay, the OEM air filter, meaning original equipment manufacturing, the one that you get from Toyota, or for, like for my 4Runner, the one that is actually a Toyota genuine part, or the one that is an actual genuine Mopar part for my Gladiator, they're expensive. Okay, it's like $48 or $50 for my air filter. Stupid. But for my Gladiator air filter, I think it's 30-something bucks. I don't know because I buy a bunch at a time, but it's like 30-something bucks for the Toyota one. Now, if you are replacing your air filter, if you're going to stretch it and you're going to run it for 12 or 15 or whatever, some people are going 20,000 miles even though you shouldn't. But if you're going to stretch that out, definitely go with the OEM one for sure, because it's going to matter. They are better built. They have better materials in them. They have to meet the OEM standards, and they work good. Okay, so that is the way to go. And I actually do that because I spend all my time in the dirt. So I actually opt in and spend the money for those quality air filters from the OEM manufacturers. But you can get something like Fram or Purelator or something like that for literally half the price. So if you're thinking about changing your air filter every, like they suggest here, you're thinking about actually doing it maybe every 5,000 to protect your car. If you're going to be doing it every 5,000 miles, save yourself some money and just use the Frams or something like that. Or I don't see a problem with that. Use those because you're changing it out much more often. So the quality of that material doesn't need to hold up for as long, and it's going to be fine. It's your choice. I still choose to use OEM, but just know that if this you need to change this filter, and it is one of the most commonly neglected parts of it. People will go 20, 30, that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous how long they'll go without changing an air filter. Change it often, and like I said, OEM ones are better. But if you're going to use non-OEM, change it more often. So it's kind of a wash either way. If you want to go 10,000 miles on an OEM, or you want to go 5,000 miles on an aftermarket, and it's half price for the aftermarket. Same thing either way. But just so food for thought for you there. Moving on, we got 2 Ford recalls we are going to cover real quick before we are done here today. The first one, 2024 F-150 recalled for possible steering loss after factory mix-up. There's a total of them here. They gave us a total. Did I see where it was? They talk about the owners are slated to be notified this month, but the recall is small. Only impacts 385 trucks, so it is not a big deal. And it's basically it's a dangerous deal that happened, but it's a simple human error mix-up. Again, it's just little stuff that's there. What is it right here? Where did I see it? I saw it on here somewhere. Right here, it's error at the Kansas City assembly plant. It led to the wrong bolt being used. That's all it is. The wrong bolt was used, but it is one that connects the upper steering to the lower steering system. It says it right in here somewhere, right here. An incorrect fastener may have been used to attach the lower steering shaft to the steering gear. This can result in the fastener loosening over time, potentially disengaging altogether. If that happens, the steering system may separate and result in total loss of control of the vehicle. That's a very high risk. That's a very bad thing. But the good news is it was to a small amount of people or a small amount of trucks, and Ford's going to fix it right away. Thank God, because like I said, I would have been surprised if Ford didn't come back and say, well, we're going to bring your car in. We're going to put 3 zip ties and a little bit of fishing wire around it, and we'll have you fixed right back up. Because that's how Ford handles all their recalls and all their problems today. But this is what it was right here. Root cause appears to be simple human error. Box of fasteners intended for another use was incorrectly delivered to a station that secures the lower steering column. Simple, easy. They're going to fix it for you. Next recall, this one's a little bigger. Ford recalls hybrids because they might shift into neutral on their own. Software update will fix the issue that affects certain Mavericks, Escapes, and Lincoln Corsairs. So if you have one of these vehicles, know that it's there. It's something like 9,000 of them. Yeah, right here. Recall affects 8727 cars, vast majority being Maverick pickup trucks. It also includes 20 to 22 Escapes, 21 and 22 Corsairs. So if you have one of these vehicles, there is an issue there that can basically cause your vehicle at any given time to just shift itself into neutral. Not a horrible thing because your brakes still work, your lights still work, everything still works, but you step on the gas, it's just going to rev. But anyway, they're going to fix it. They will be notifying vehicle owners by mail this month, and you go in for new software. But if you have one of these vehicles, it might be worth diving into the safety recall report so that you can see if it's yours and you know what's happening. So, all right, we're going to end this one here. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thank you for watching.